They call it menopause as if it's just a pause. But for millions of women over 60, especially in the US and Europe, what comes after feels more like a slow erasure. The sharpness once taken for granted begins to fade. Names slip, stories blur. Even the simple confidence to walk into a room and remember why you're there becomes a silent battle. For some, it's chalked up to normal aging. For others, it feels like losing parts of their identity, one quiet forgetfulness at a time. Here's the shocking truth: memory loss after menopause is not just about aging. It's deeply connected to a hormonal storm that rewires a woman's brain, and doctors rarely talk about it. Scientific studies have now linked the sudden drop in estrogen to changes in the hippocampus, the brain's memory command center. But this isn't just about biology. It's about real women, real struggles, and the silent epidemic that steals memories in the most personal way. In today's video on elderly reflections, we're going beyond the surface. You'll hear not just the facts, but stories, raw, emotional, and true. Stories from women who found themselves asking, "Am I losing my mind?" and found answers, hope, and healing through unexpected paths. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss these important insights on senior health, elderly wisdom, and life lessons from the elderly. The truth we're about to share might just help you or someone you love get their clarity back. As women approach menopause, many begin to notice a fog settling over their thoughts. Names slip away, concentration wavers, and moments of clarity seem fewer and farther between. While some chalk it up to normal aging, neuroscience tells a much more complex and revealing story. It all begins with a dramatic hormonal shift. The primary estrogen involved in brain function, estradiol, plummets during menopause. Estradiol supports synaptic plasticity, neurogenesis, and the function of the hippocampus, a key structure involved in memory formation and emotional regulation. As this hormone declines, the brain scrambles to adapt. PET imaging studies from Weill Cornell show that estrogen receptor density actually increases in the brains of menopausal women. This might seem beneficial, but in reality, it reflects the brain's desperation. It's trying to catch more estrogen, but there's simply not enough circulating. The increased receptor density is paradoxically associated with poorer memory performance, emotional dysregulation, and a feeling of disconnection from past cognitive ability. This is not aging, it's biological compensation gone awry. Margaret, 68, shared, "I used to remember every birthday in my family. But one day I forgot my sister's and it devastated me. It felt like part of my identity was slipping away." What Margaret experienced is not unusual. Up to 80% of women report memory and focus issues after menopause, according to a 2021 Cambridge study. Beyond chemistry, menopause brings structural changes to the brain. MRI scans of over 160 women aged 40 to 65 revealed a measurable decrease in gray matter volume, particularly in areas tied to memory and executive function. The hippocampus shrinks without hormonal protection. These effects are more pronounced in women who do not use hormone replacement therapy, indicating that estradiol helps preserve brain volume and cognitive resilience. Another major consequence of hormonal decline is sleep disruption. Perimenopause often comes with night sweats, insomnia, and heightened anxiety caused by erratic estrogen and progesterone levels. Poor sleep impairs the consolidation of memory and contributes to elevated cortisol levels. Chronically high cortisol damages neurons, especially in the hippocampus, reducing cognitive clarity over time. Inflammation is another hidden threat. Estrogen has natural anti-inflammatory properties. Without it, the brain is more vulnerable to systemic inflammation and oxidative stress, which degrade neuronal communication and contribute to slower cognitive processing. Inflammatory markers such as IL-6 and TNF-alpha, often elevated in postmenopausal women, are strongly correlated with memory decline. Ellen, 70, from Berlin, struggled with both memory lapses and persistent fatigue. After a comprehensive evaluation, Her doctors found not only low estrogen levels, but also high inflammation markers and elevated cortisol. I wasn't just forgetting things, I was fighting an invisible fire in my brain, she said. Finally, for some women, these changes come even more suddenly and severely. Those who undergo oophorectomy, removal of ovaries, before natural menopause face a sharp and immediate estrogen crash. Studies have shown these women have higher risks of cognitive decline and earlier onset of dementia. The brain, unprepared for this abrupt hormonal loss, begins to show signs of distress in both function and structure within months. Beyond hormones, other factors like high blood pressure, poor sleep, diabetes, nutritional deficiencies, especially B vitamins, and the presence of the APO4 gene all magnify the risks of cognitive decline. These compounding variables interact with hormonal changes, making menopause a critical window for brain health. It often starts quietly, a pause in mid conversation, a moment of searching for a word you've said 1,000 times before. For many women after 60, memory changes emerge like whispers, not with dramatic forgetting, but with small disruptions in the rhythm of thought. These are the earliest clues of a cognitive shift, and they're far more common than we think. Take language, for instance. Word finding difficulty is one of the most frequently reported frustrations. You know exactly what you want to say, but the word hides somewhere just out of reach. Scientists have long observed that verbal fluency is tied closely to estrogen levels, specifically to estradiol, the brain's most active form of estrogen. As estradiol drops, neurotransmitter systems, including acetylcholine and dopamine, begin to falter. PET scans have shown reduced glucose metabolism in key language centers during perimenopause, particularly in Broca's and Wernicke's areas. What this means is simple: your brain is working harder to say less. Margaret, 68, remembers struggling to recall the word biscuit during a casual tea with friends. I felt ridiculous, she said. But more than that, I felt scared. Beyond speech, many women describe a kind of mental fatigue they'd never known before. Tasks once completed with ease, reading, managing bills, even writing emails, start to feel draining. This isn't just tiredness. It's a shift in how the brain processes and stores information. Studies from Weill Cornell revealed a 15% reduction in cerebral energy use in the prefrontal cortex during menopause, explaining why focus becomes such a struggle. Carol, 64, once an avid reader, found herself rereading the same paragraph over and over. It's like the words won't stay put, she explained, frustrated by a mind that once raced ahead. Even simple daily routines begin to shift. You forget where you left your glasses. You walk into a room and can't remember why. It's not new, but it's happening more often. This is often tied to the hippocampus, the brain's memory map maker. It's one of the first areas to respond to hormonal change. As estrogen fades, the hippocampus literally shrinks. Spatial memory suffers. Neuroimaging studies and animal models have repeatedly shown how estrogen deprivation impairs the ability to track objects or navigate familiar spaces. For many women, the problem isn't memory, it's orientation. And then, there's something harder to describe: the fading of emotional texture. You remember your wedding or the first time you held your child, but something feels missing. The warmth, the spark, the emotional pulse that once accompanied those memories has dulled. Scientists believe this is due to weakened connectivity between the hippocampus and the amygdala. Estrogen helps these two regions talk, creating not just memory, but meaning. Without it, even precious moments may feel like distant postcards, present, but flat. What makes all this even harder is the awareness of it. Many women begin to worry about their forgetfulness. They write lists, check them twice, then forget where they left the list. This anxiety, the fear of losing control, can itself impair memory. Known as metamemory distress, it creates a loop. The more you worry, the more cortisol rises. And the more cortisol floods the brain, the harder it becomes to recall. Women trapped in this spiral often doubt themselves, avoid conversations, and quietly withdraw. This pattern unfolds gradually. In the perimenopausal phase, typically between 45 and 55, symptoms start gently. There's occasional brain fog, minor slips, disrupted sleep, and fluctuating attention. But as women move into postmenopause, particularly the first 5 years, these symptoms deepen. Brain scans confirm shrinkage in gray matter, particularly in memory and language areas. Blood flow to the brain slows. Tasks take longer. Recollection becomes patchy. Without intervention, these patterns may solidify. In the years that follow, especially without hormone therapy or supportive care, many women face chronic inflammation, neuronal slowdown, and increased risk of dementia. Research shows that women who undergo early menopause or surgical ovary removal face even higher risks. One 2024 study reported that women with elevated estrogen receptor density during postmenopause had twice the risk of developing Alzheimer's biomarkers, a chilling reminder of how the brain tries to compensate when left unsupported. But this isn't a message of fear, it's one of awareness. By recognizing these subtle signs early, before they escalate, we create room for change. We create space for care, strategy, and even recovery. In the next part, we'll explore what real solutions look like. Not just theories, but practical changes, therapies, and powerful stories of women who turn the tide. Stay with us. You are not alone, and your mind deserves the same care as your body. Ready to move forward? When memory starts to slip and mental fog creeps in, many women quietly wonder if this is just the beginning of permanent decline. But what science and experience shows us is this: the brain after menopause is not doomed to fade. It can be rewired, nourished, and strengthened. The path forward begins with understanding the tools that work and using them early and intentionally. One of the most researched and potentially effective tools is hormone therapy, but it's all about timing. Studies have shown that initiating hormone replacement therapy, HRT, within a few years of menopause can offer profound protection for memory. Brain imaging from major research institutions reveals that women who start HRT around age 50 to 55 have more preserved hippocampal volume and improved verbal memory than those who start late or not at all. In animal studies, even brief hormone treatment during the menopausal window boosted neurogenesis and reduced signs of cognitive aging. However, the benefits of HRT decline if started too far past menopause, and risks may increase, particularly for women with a history of stroke, breast cancer, or clotting disorders. That's why individualized consultation with a doctor is essential. For women with the APE4 gene, a genetic marker linked to Alzheimer's, early HRT may be especially helpful in reducing brain atrophy. Beyond hormonal support, lifestyle changes offer one of the most powerful shields against memory decline. In particular, the combination of aerobic exercise and the mind diet has been repeatedly linked to sharper cognition in older adults. Daily walking, swimming, or dancing increases blood flow to the brain and stimulates BDNF, a growth factor that supports neuron survival and growth. The mind diet, which emphasizes leafy greens, berries, nuts, olive oil, and whole grains, reduces inflammation and supports vascular health, both critical for cognitive clarity. In one study, postmenopausal women who combined exercise and mind diet habits showed improved hormone balance, stronger memory scores, and reduced brain aging markers within 6 months. Strength training, performed just twice a week, has also been found to slow hippocampal shrinkage and improve white matter integrity. But physical habits are just one piece of the puzzle. Sleep and stress management play a crucial, often overlooked role in memory health. The hormonal turbulence of menopause often disrupts sleep, leaving women fatigued and mentally foggy. Chronic stress elevates cortisol levels, which in turn damages the hippocampus. This creates a vicious cycle, one where the brain struggles to recover. Clinical studies support the use of cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, and mindfulness meditation as non drug strategies that significantly improve sleep quality and reduce memory complaints. Journaling, gratitude exercises, and deep breathing are not just soft remedies, they're powerful brain interventions. Just as the body needs movement, the mind needs stimulation. Women who continue to challenge their brains through learning new languages, playing music, engaging in deep conversations, or even playing exer games that combine physical and cognitive tasks show stronger resilience against memory decline. Mental stimulation keeps synaptic pathways active and promotes the formation of new neural connections. Social interaction, in particular, has a measurable impact on memory, offering emotional buffering and mental engagement that solitary activities often lack. Some women also explore targeted supplements to support memory, though these should never replace foundational lifestyle changes. Omega 3 fatty acids, B vitamins, soy isoflavones, and flavonoids have shown some benefit in reducing inflammation and supporting cognitive function in small studies. However, results vary, and some herbal supplements can interact with medications or hormone treatments. For this reason, all supplementation should be discussed with a qualified healthcare provider. The science is compelling, but nothing is more persuasive than the women living this journey. And a 72-year-old from Paris began walking every day, lifting light weights, switching to the mind diet, and practicing mindfulness after noticing persistent brain fog. 6 months later, she felt mentally sharper, more emotionally stable, and deeply energized. Margaret, 68, started HRT under medical supervision and added yoga and Mediterranean eating to her routine. Her daughter noticed the shift before she did. "You seem lighter," she told her. "Like you're here again." Linda, 66, battled insomnia and memory lapses until she began CBTI and joined a community choir. Her recall improved, but so did her spirit. These stories are not miracles. They are examples of what's possible when knowledge is met with action. Memory after menopause isn't fixed, it's flexible. And every choice, every habit, every new day is a chance to reclaim clarity and strength. By now, you've seen how menopause can quietly change the brain and how awareness, science, and action can help reclaim mental clarity. This final part is about weaving everything together into a realistic, heart centered plan. It's not about perfection. It's about building habits, support, and compassion that carry you forward, one steady day at a time. It starts with noticing. When you begin tracking the small moments, pauses in conversation, misplaced keys, a name you couldn't recall, you're not just observing forgetfulness. You're starting a dialogue with your mind. Jotting down when and how often these lapses happen gives insight into your patterns. From there, you can begin making thoughtful changes. Understanding your personal risk is equally important. Do you have a family history of dementia or early menopause? Have you had an ovary removed before 45? Are you experiencing sleep loss or chronic stress? All of these increase vulnerability. Speaking with a doctor about your history and possibly testing for the APO4 gene can guide whether early hormone therapy, nutrition changes, or other steps are right for you. Once you know your terrain, it's time to build your toolkit. Start with movement. Aim for 30 minutes of brisk walking, dancing, or swimming 5 days a week. Add strength training twice weekly. These activities have been shown to literally grow memory regions of the brain. Next, focus on food. The mind diet is not a fad, it's a research backed way of eating that slows brain aging. Think dark leafy greens, berries, olive oil, fish, whole grains, beans, nuts, and very little sugar or processed meat. Quality sleep and stress management go hand in hand. A calming bedtime routine, limiting screens, sipping herbal tea, deep breathing can reset your nervous system. Many women benefit from mindfulness meditation, journaling, or even gentle yoga. These practices reduce cortisol, helping the hippocampus recover. Mental engagement matters too. This is where joy returns. Try new hobbies, learn a language, play music, solve puzzles. Engage in lively conversation. Social interaction especially keeps the brain agile. It activates memory, emotion, and focus all at once. Don't isolate. Find places, online or in person, where your mind and spirit can stretch. Some women also explore supplements like omega 3 fatty acids, B vitamins, or soy isoflavones. These may help, but they are not magic bullets. Always speak with a healthcare provider before starting anything new, especially if you're using hormone therapy or managing other conditions. What truly makes change sustainable is community. Find an accountability partner or group. Share recipes, movement goals, or memory tricks. Set quarterly brain health check ins with your doctor or wellness coach. Celebrate the little things: a good night's sleep, a smooth conversation, a moment of clarity you hadn't felt in weeks. Most of all, give yourself grace. There will be off days, moments when the words won't come or the sleep didn't stick. That's okay. The journey isn't linear. What matters is that you're showing up with curiosity, with commitment, and with care. This roadmap is not just a plan, it's a promise. That memory after menopause is not something to fear. It's a new relationship with your mind, one that can be nourished, strengthened, and honored. If this series has helped you, brought insight, comfort, or clarity, consider subscribing so we can continue bringing senior health, elderly wisdom, and inspiration directly to your life. Leave a comment below and let us know. Where are you watching from? What part of your memory journey are you in? Let's build elderly reflections into a true space for hope and healing, one shared story at a time. Thank you for walking this path. May your days ahead be clear, connected, and full of gentle strength.